Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. Got a great show for you guys today. We're going to get into a bunch of topics. The next OTA is tomorrow, so we'll be previewing some of that. But before we do that, make sure you go check out Matt Bowers at one of his mini dealerships. Best car dealer in the whole entire South, has dealerships all throughout the Gulf Coast regions. He'll get you the best prices, the best customer care, the best service. If you're going to shop smart and buy local. Buy from Matt Bowers.
Nick, let's get into our first segment presented by Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. On last show, you and Mike talked about the trend of quarterbacks having shorter terms of development, having limited runway to be able to get up and get going before they get going. In all honesty, so do you think Tyler Shough, with him already being kind of up there in age, will have a fair shot at development?
It's kind of an interesting question because like you could get put into the situation where you feel like you're rushing him to get out there because you feel like you need Tyler Shough to go out and to play early and to show you what
Yeah.
he's got and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a risk that you run a little bit. It's interesting though, because like I don't know if they're gonna approach it that way. And honestly, like I kind of feel like they're building a situation that is conducive to success a little bit. Like they've invested in the offensive line the right way. They aren't trading off their wide receivers or anything like that. And I do think like when you get to the end of this, that if there's something that they feel like is going to be like a fatal flaw or something that doesn't allow him to get on the field and have success, I think you can go to door B and you can put one of these other guys out there. It is interesting though, because like you
Right.
could end up in a situation, but I think the thing that really helps him is that this coaching staff is new and there isn't pressure on him at this point. So I think that kind of takes out the urgency of well, it has to work with this guy and it has to work right now, or we're all out of here. You're at the beginning of it, which I think is kind of a big advantage in this type of situation.
Yeah, for sure. And that I kind of think is the biggest point of this is he's not just immediately following up after Drew Brees, who was able to take the Saints to the playoffs for multiple years. He's coming in during a down period. He's coming in during a new fresh period where they're reestablishing and building up from the foundation what this team will be moving forward. And he has a chance to be a part of that, or if he plays himself out of it, then so be it. They'll just do it again. And I really think that his early embrace of the city, early embrace of the culture, it helps him. It definitely helps him a lot. But it all comes down to what you can do on the field. And from what we've seen just in snippets and videos and being out there at the one OTA, we're going to go back out there tomorrow, like you mentioned earlier. I think it's going to be an ample opportunity for him to kind of grow into that starter role, if not capture it by the end of training camp.
I'm going to flip this on its head a little bit. I think where this conversation would play in is at the end of this year. Does he get the extended runway for development? Maybe not at the beginning. I think at the beginning you're probably okay. Being the 40th pick, does he get the second Bryce Young season? Like, because nobody's really that invested in him. I think
Yeah.
it could be like a Jimmy Clausen type situation or whatever, like someone drafted a little bit later where it isn't you have to make it work because you drafted him with the first pick, you second, third, like where you get
Yeah.
2, 3 chances to do it. I think he gets his one look, and at the end of this, if he isn't right, you're looking at Klubnik or Nussmeier or one of these other guys in the draft that are going to be there where you're picking. Because look, if Tyler Shough doesn't work, like you're picking in the top 5,
Yeah.
I think no matter what. And then even if he does work, what if he doesn't work to that percentile where you're saying, I know 100% that this guy's going to be the franchise changer, and let's say Garrett Nussmeier has that development this season where kind of some of that YOLO stuff kind of starts weighing into the right situation for him where some of these decisions are a little bit less aggressive and he kind of harnesses like all of his talent because
Yeah.
look, he's a really good quarterback. And if he has that last year cleanup, he could look like that type of player coming in. Or, there's somebody we aren't even talking about right now that's going to end up being a top 5, top 10 quarterback pick probably because that's how it goes every single year. Maybe Sellers puts it all together and he looks like that franchise changer, or Klubnik keeps progressing and he's that franchise changer. And all of a sudden now you're weighing Tyler Shough against one of these guys. Is it enough for him to continue to have that room for development going forward? I think that's where it gets really interesting. I think in year one, I don't think you throw them out there and let them drown. I think they'll approach it the right way and be
Yeah.
sober about their decision making or whatever. But it is at the end of that road, or at the end of this year, when you can maybe turn two different ways. It's going to be really interesting to see how they approach that if they're picking in that range. And there's a gotta have them type guy in the QB class.
Let's say by week 2, week 3, he is the starter and he goes out and he starts the rest of the games for the season and they end up in that 4, 5, 6-ish kind of range. What does the wins have to look like in the season after that? Because the offensive line, like you mentioned, is already built out. The running game is pretty much built out for the future. Yeah, you can definitely add some talent at receiver, and then at that point, you're getting into Chris's contract. So receiver might become a not might, it will become a bigger need at that time. So, kind of what would that look like next year to kind of continue to stave off somebody else coming in?
I think it'll just be one of those things where you kind of just know that he's the guy. Like I don't know how to really define it. I don't really know what it's gonna look like. I just know when we see it, we'll probably all be in agreement on it. If it's this guy is the guy. I'm sure there's a level of debate. Like if you're picking fourth and it's quarterback 1, 2, and then you're way like there's a scenario where it could be a legitimate debate all off season next year. But I think if you're talking about replacing a guy that's like actually good, you have to lose a ton of games.
Yeah.
And you got to be picking 1, 2, and it's got to be one of those like franchise changers at the top of the draft. It's not, pick six just feels like you're kind of, I don't know, if there's five other teams passing them, like that's probably not a gotta have it, gotta franchise changer. Like that's a maybe at that point. That's a really good player, but maybe not the guy. It's not Caleb Williams. It's not Jaden Daniels. At that point, you can still get one of them in that range, but like knowing on that day. But um, yeah, look, it's gonna be fascinating to see where this kind of ends up at the end of the season. I mean, you bring up wide receiver. That's a position now where I think you almost have to draft one every 2 or 3 years because it's become so high paid. And
Yeah.
you're in a situation with the rookie where you can kind of keep paying people, but if someone isn't absolutely changing your team, and no disrespect to anybody on the team right now, I don't know that the quarterback talent's there to have it change the team, and I don't know that there's been the this is Jamar Chase. Like I don't think you have that yet. So that's a position that yeah, you're looking at it. It's a high value position where you're weighing that against the quarterback. If you aren't in range to get the franchise changer, is it a guy that's worth it to go through another season with? Keep evaluating it and see if you can win with them, or do you try, wait and see where it's at a year from that? Like there's a lot of tentacles coming out from this, but
Yeah.
it's like I think when we're sitting here next year at this time before the draft, whatever, I don't think it would be a maybe at that point. I think it'd be like or you don't know if you absolutely have the guy.
Yeah, that's a fact. And another thing that kind of popped up in my mind while discussing that is, will that instability at quarterback affect kind of the way that the Saints approach free agency? Will they be able to land some of those bigger fish because they're like, well, we have this guy who might not be the answer, but we're gonna have this younger guy that comes in and he'll have to be built up and developed into something. And that really is a factor because if guys are trying to play for their money or play to get that other contract, kind of like what Chase Young was last year, do you even explore that option if you know it's not going to be a solid thing?
Yeah, I mean it's a really good question. It is. Where you fall on it?
I, I think I think you stick with them until you can't. I've definitely like if you have the opportunity to be in the top 5, top 6, you do it because you're bad enough to be able to be there. But if you're in that like 13 through like 16 range, you get something that's an immediate need. Then after that, you wait and maybe you go to the second round again and hit it. But there's gonna come a time where that runway runs out, not for Shuck, but for Kellen Moore of, hey, you gotta get your guy. You know what I mean? We're gonna continue to invest in you, but you gotta get your guy. So I think if it's not this year, then maybe if they are in the top 5 range, that you just gotta go for it and get your guy and develop it from there.
Yeah, I mean the best situation for this team would be is if they actually found their quarterback at 40, and
Yeah.
it's not just a guy, like it's the guy. It's the guy. He makes
Right.
you believe you can win with him. Getting in that range to get a win because guy is tough. And if he allows you to be competitive and play well, like The hardest thing in football is finding a way to win when you don't necessarily have like one of those quarterbacks and avoid getting stuck in purgatory and
Yeah.
actually have real chances and actually lift hardware at the end of the season. But um, yeah, man, like it's like the greatest gift for them would be they end up with their quarterback, they're drafting high, and you can look at the wide receiver, or you can take Woods from Clemson, or you can look at the cornerback from Tennessee, or like whatever the high value need is, because like if quarterback's off the books, both tackles are off the books. Like all of a sudden, like
Yeah.
like some of your high value positions are really really taken care of,
Right.
and now you can check off another one. And like if you have difference makers at those high value positions, that's when you can start building a program. But yeah, I mean, look, that's where the conversation I think becomes incredibly fascinating is 6 months from now when we're looking at this and it's all of a sudden the picture's clear, things are defined. Is you know, I think where it becomes most fascinating really is like just in a conversational sense, in an academic sense. I think it's the worst thing for the team if it's in that in between phase where it's like maybe you can go one way, maybe you can go another, and it's not clear whether it absolutely is him or if it
Yeah.
isn't. Or like I think that's a terrible place to get stuck. But I think just like academically talking about it, like I think that's where it becomes really fascinating is when you're kind of trying to figure out all these scenarios, weigh them against each other, and you're still weighing the quarterback against other quarterbacks, and you're trying to figure out the value of it. And like you can't actually make a wrong decision there. Like if it isn't clear, like I think that's where like I mean that might cause civil war. Like honestly, that's where you get the civil war. But like that's where it really becomes like really really fascinating. I think. But
Yeah.
it'd be a terrible place to be for the team.
Oh yeah, that in between spot is rough. They've had franchises that have been in there for the last 10 years. But something that really kind of was like a pin in my head was to pin the topic for midseason once we start seeing some games and once we start seeing kind of how this team gels is how many pieces away can this team be from being a legitimate threat? Because you have the bookends at tackle. Let's see how Banks, kind of pans out. I think that'll be successful moving forward this season. And if you check off quarterback, you check off, kind of your future at running back, you would really just need a receiver and an end, and then maybe you're almost there. Now, linebacker also have to see kind of what Stutzman is hitting on to kind of secure up that future. But quickly, this can become, oh, well, two or three pieces away from being a real, not Super Bowl contender, but a real playoff noisemaker in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're hitting on everything, you're in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're in a very good spot. No doubt about it. I agree with you. The defense feels far off for me a little bit, a little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit. Like there aren't pillars, there aren't like long-term pillars. Like the pillars that are there now are going to crumble, I think, before like you're in a position before you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
So they definitely need some guys there. But yeah, look, you get a couple of them, you get a good pass rusher, you get a good corner. All of a sudden, like yeah, the picture changes a little bit. Linebackers aren't that hard to get. Like the investment isn't significant. There
Yeah.
aren't a lot of times you're drafting them very high. You got Justin Reed there. His timeline's a little bit weird, but like he's probably still got some good years left. So yeah, I mean, you if you hit on everything on offense, I think you still need the receiver. I think you still need a tight end, but like it isn't. Yeah, I mean everything feels manageable if you got your line and your quarterback in place.
And this is another subtopic for this point. I didn't think this point would evolve into this, but it's good that it is. Which side of the ball can you comprise of basically rental players and still be viable? And I'm leaning towards defense for the answer.
It's just so hard to get those pass rushers though in free agency. Like they
Yeah.
don't exist. Like Chase Young's about as good as you can do, and he doesn't feel like yet, right? Like he doesn't feel like,
He hasn't not to for the position where he was picked at. Yeah, no, he hasn't reached it.
or even just as a Saints acquisition, he doesn't feel like a difference maker yet.
Oh
Like I got
no.
to see more before I feel that. Like if you gave me 11 Chase Youngs, like I probably got an okay defense, but I don't know that I got
Right.
the Super Bowl caliber type defense. So I think there's just unattainable pieces on both sides of the ball, like that are very hard to get. From where they sit now, like if like changing the parameters of the conversation a little bit for
Mhm.
the Saints where they sit now, the pieces that they're lacking, if we're assuming the tackles are good, the quarterback are good, I think you can rent your way out of. You're in a place where you can rent your way out of that. I think like
Mhm.
a little bit better. The defense, like if you have a question mark at cornerback and you have question marks on the D ends, like Chase Young's a good piece, but I think you still need like one more above unless he redefines how we're having the conversation about him
Yeah.
with this play, which he could, but I haven't seen it yet. So yeah, I would say maybe the offense is
Okay.
maybe the side that you got your TV, you got your DVD player, you go to Blockbuster and get that thing to pop in there, and it all comes together, and you got a good you got a good movie night. But
Blockbuster. Golly, man.
yeah, 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 yeah. Whatever. You up on Amazon Prime and you pay
No,
the
no, no.
19.99, whatever it
I
is.
remember Blockbuster, man. You go in there, you can rent a video game. We used to have something called Movie Magic out here. It was lit. But I got you. I feel I'm not that old, man. I mean, I'm not that young. I got you. I've been there.
Like the movie watching experience was so much better before like the proliferation of like movie reviews everywhere and like access to it and like the tomato meter or whatever. Like when you
Yeah,
just used to have to go in, you'd have to look at a cover and you'd rent something and you'd have to just decide like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch this. You go home and watch it, and you just kind of formulate your own thoughts without the echo chamber around it.
sure.
Like there's a lot of movies that are classics now for like people my age. And then you go look at like the ratings for them and it's like at like 63%. And it's like, no, man, like Top Gun was fire. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah,
but I don't think people
good film.
experience that way anymore. Like groupthink defines how everyone thinks about everything
It
anymore.
definitely does define how everyone thinks about everything. I mean, look, yeah, we're gonna keep it at that because this could end up becoming a whole show if we continue on this.
Yes.
Because that's just how conversations go sometimes. But let's roll into our next segment presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. The Olympics are coming to the United States in 2028. Over the summer, the Olympics was kind of something that the whole nation, but I know us in the house in Cali, were something that we looked forward to. We watched it every night. And football recently was added, flag football at that. And they voted, I think last week, that players will be able to participate in it. So let's draft some Saints players who we would pick to go to the Olympics to represent the United States. You can start out first.
Look, no, I'm gonna let you go first. Quick shout out to Taylor Sharp. He brought this up to me yesterday on
Okay.
OTV on one of them. We talked about one guy. So I'm kind of stealing the topic and expanding it
Mhm.
because whatever. Hey, it's a good talking point. So shout out to Taylor. I'm gonna let you go first
Okay.
because I feel like I'm gonna win this because you're gonna pick one guy I absolutely do not want, and I'm gonna tell you why I think it's the worst pick in the draft, and I think you're gonna end up taking him at
Okay.
some point during your three, and I want you to take him before I hit.
Haven't seen him yet, but since you said that, let's just go. You know what? I'm gonna go complete wild card since you think you know me, since you think you got me pinned down.
Yeah, I do. I think I do
Uh,
have you pinned out. I think you're gonna take one, and I'm gonna stack my draw four on top of
ah,
it.
I'm gonna go Quincy Riley. Very athletic guy. Very much a guy that can do.
Incredibly weird pick.
Well, yeah. You think you got me pinned down? I'm about to show you.
Oh, so you're just gonna wild card it. It's just take a guy with a hurt ankle or whatever it is. Yeah,
Hey,
all
he's
right,
gonna be right by 2028.
all
I
right,
don't have to worry
okay,
about that.
okay.
He's gonna be right by then. Yeah, I mean, there's a definite number one pick in my head, but since I think you're gonna pin me to the wall, it's like, hey, that was dumb. Let me show you why. I'm gonna go Quincy Riley. It's a very athletic guy. Even in his post-draft press conference, hearing him talk about his athleticism and his skills outside of just football, I think he has to be on that list in consideration.
All right, I'm gonna save my wild card pick for later. And I think this guy's actually the best pick
Okay.
in the draft, but I'm gonna
Okay.
save him. I'm gonna save him until the end. I mean, my first pick's gonna be Olave. He cuts on a dime. He has the most fluid movement. He's the best route runner
Right.
on the team. He's actually
Right.
gonna get open. He's gonna dance around people. And it isn't just pure speed. So I'm gonna take him.
All right. Got to go again. Fine. Let's do it. Rashid Shaheed. Speed, athleticism, can fly. You can't go wrong with him.
It's a good pick. It's a great pick.
Is that the guy?
No, it's not the guy. It's
Okay,
not
well,
the guy.
we're good
It's
then.
not the guy. It
We're
is
good
not the
then.
guy. No, it
Rashid
isn't.
Shaheed was originally my first pick. I just had to flip that around. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed.
All right. No, no, no. That wasn't it. That wasn't my number one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with my next pick, and I'm gonna take I'll take my wild card right here. It's Alontae Taylor. I think he has some of the best fluidity of movement on the
Okay.
entire team. And I'm playing him on offense. I'm putting him
Okay.
on offense. I'm putting the ball in his hands. I'm letting him dance around people. And I think he just has like the best in a box movement skills on the whole entire team.
Whew. All right. Let's see, because that was going to be my third pick. I didn't think you were going to pick him at all. Actually, let's go. Are we sticking with this player currently right now, or this player in
Yeah, on the
2028?
team right now. Yeah,
All right.
as they exist today.
Right. As they exist today. I got you. And that hurts because I was gonna say Taysom Hill just because you're not trying to get in front of that guy. He can throw his hips and not get his flag pulled, but I don't know. I think there's a better person on this list, and let's say Brandon Cooks. Let's
Okay,
say Brandon Cooks, another flyer, another guy who's just straight speed. That's where
that's
I'm going. That's where I'm going. Just because even seeing him run those routes the other day it is year 10 for him or something like that. He still looks really, really good in terms of that eye test. So I'm going Cooks.
I'm going Dante Pettis with my last pick. Uh, just a very good returner. Has those movement skills. Is
Okay.
very good at it. Can fly a little bit,
Okay.
and that's my pick. So going into it, there were two guys. I thought you were going to pick one of the two, and I was going to step on it, and you almost just took one right there.
Okay.
And I don't think Taysom and or Alvin would be good flag football players because Taysom's a run over people, run into
Yes.
contact type guy, not shifty. And the thing that makes Alvin special is the contact balance. Like that's
Right.
his that's not a like if you're hitting into people in flag football, like you're in trouble. Now, I think that he could plant his foot and just make some people look really stupid. And like we're talking about like I don't even like I feel like Canada will be okay at this, but like we're talking about like going against like Argentina, like
Yeah.
who isn't a football place, so like they might not get the angles. Like
Hold
I
on
think we're
now. Because I thought about this the other day. Maybe they'll translate some of their soccer players who are
no
lesser at
doubt.
soccer to this. And you know about soccer, they get down. They get down.
Now, and I mean this. I'm not. I mean no disrespect to anybody in the like any other
Yeah, for
country. Like
sure.
if
For
you're from
sure.
there, like shout out to Saints Brazil and all these other like groups,
Mhm.
Saints France, all of them. Shout out to our guys, over in London.
Yeah.
The Saints of City and me and all them got like they might see some football. Like I think it's gonna be like basketball. I think it's
Yes.
gonna be like basketball,
Definitely
where
think it'll be
where
like
in like
basketball.
'92 we just smoked everybody because like nobody else was really playing the sport seriously at that point. Now, if like flag football is like actually a popular thing in the Olympics, I could see that helping with the popularity of the sport, more people playing it, more people growing up dreaming about playing it, and all that stuff. But right now, I feel like they're new to the game, so like we're gonna have our biggest advantage ever in this, like
Oh
at the
yeah.
beginning.
About a
The
country
question
mile.
is if we pick the right team because like there are a lot of people that I think might just be pure flag football players who are better at the sport than like NFL players because like that's all they do. Like you can't go to like like Rucker Park and like there's guys that play street basketball that are just gonna be a little bit better in that venue than maybe. No, I'm not saying like LeBron's gonna go there and kill him, like Steph's gonna go there and kill him. Like, but there's
Yeah.
guys that I think like I've seen like videos of like NBA guys going there and they don't necessarily like run away with it and so because like it's a little bit different than that. So shout out to NFL Street though, man. Like that was a fire video game.
Oh,
I don't know
yes,
why I just
indeed. I
thought
was
of
just
it, but
saying,
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure. And it's funny because a guy who goes to the same barbershop as I do, he's like big in the USA flag football scene. Like he travels everywhere with them and everything like that. And we got into an argument in there, one of many things, about how his guy Doucette was better than Tyreek Hill. And I'm like, well, that's Tyreek Hill. And then I was sleeping on him. I legitimately was. And he showed me a video of him, and I was like, dang, this dude is cold. But then you read the article, and this guy was saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes in the flag football setting. He's like the Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes of flag football, and he's better than kind of what Patrick Mahomes would be. And look, there's been many athletic PE where we just got the flags and played flag football, and some people that you thought were hard weren't hard. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn, but what do you think about the guys who have made entire careers of playing flag football maybe not getting that chance because of the inclusion of NFL players.
I mean, I hope they get to compete. I hope they get to go out there and show what they can do, and that should be the barrier. I don't know that anyone's going to agree in the NFL to be part of this if they aren't guaranteed a spot on the team, though.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to accept an open tryout because that would be pretty humiliating to get beat by a guy that just plays flag football and you're a high level NFL player. So
right.
yeah, but look, I think there's differences in the game. Like there's just little things about like knowing how to, just certain movements that I think probably you develop over time if that's what you specialize in. No, I think like if Justin Jefferson spent some time thinking about it, I think he could probably pick it up, pretty damn
He's
quickly.
from
But
St. Rose, bro. He can't lose. What are you talking about?
yeah, but like there's things these guys are good at and
Yeah.
that they spend their time specializing in that aren't gonna translate. I mean, I think the game is a little bit different. And yeah, I see dude out here talking about, everything. I want that guy on my team. Like I want a guy that thinks like that. Like
Yeah.
like put him on there, keep him on the team. But yeah,
Mhm.
look, I'd probably be pissed if I was one of them guys though that I've spent my life specializing in this, that this is what I do, and you're gonna give the job away to somebody else. But I don't know. I don't know what the competition is gonna look like. I think, if I were one of them, I would probably be worried that it's going to be rigged a little bit. But let's be honest, like if this thing is going down, I'm tuning in to watch the team with Mahomes and Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and
Doggone right.
I'm not watching. I'm probably not spending my time watching Doucette and like whoever else. Like it's just
It's the
like
facts.
it's
Yeah,
just the
yeah. It's
truth.
just
It's just
yeah.
the truth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They have literal statistics that show that I will sit down and watch these people for hours on end versus, a set of people who I'm gonna get to learn and get to know, but that's a proven product right there.
I'd watch it if it was on.
Yeah.
Like if I catch it and it's on, but. Like, I'm seeking out basketball
Right.
and nothing else in the Olympic, really. Like that and like some of the, the races, if there's
Yeah.
a runner that's captivated my imagination or is getting a lot of hype, but nothing else. Like, and
Right, bro.
that's just what I'm doing. Yeah.
Right. But when it's Olympic time, I mean, we sat there and watched ski shooting one night. Like,
See, I
you
don't
kind of
do it. I don't do it.
you were checked out. You were checked out because you were trying to
I'm
come on, let's run the Monopoly. Because you didn't want to play Uno with me, but I understand.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's just there's too many choices nowadays, man. Like I'm just
Yeah.
not like you have to captivate me in some form or fashion. Like general viewing anymore is over. And like again, I don't know if that's better or worse for the world, but like that's just the way it is. Like you pick what you want to watch, and that's the Olympics. If they want to
Yeah.
grow flag football, they need to lean into that. Just modern viewing habits that I'm not gonna sit down and watch a random Cincinnati Reds game in 2025 like I would have in 2003. Like it's just
Yeah.
I don't have to anymore. Like there's just too many choices, and I can find something I want to watch, which probably isn't better in some senses, but in a lot of senses it is.
Hey man, that's it. That's it right there. Because if I have to fight too hard to find something, and it's not even worth it at that point. If I have to get a streaming service and then wait for that's too much. I'm not getting Peacock just to watch one game. It's
Yeah,
not happening.
absolutely not.
I'm
Absolutely
sorry.
not. Yeah, I might though. Like if you're telling me that it's like Mahomes, Jefferson, and Jamar
Oh,
Chase.
I will. I'll definitely tune in for that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
pay
pay
that.
for
No
it.
problem.
Yes,
Yeah, I'll pay
yes.
for that. No
Yeah.
problem. But
But like just I'm curious about this. Let me find it. Let me watch it. Let me no. Like and like let me
right.
watch it over the 7,000 options of things that like are on
Exactly.
my TV right there. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Exactly. We're gonna hit a quick break and then when we come back, we'll have more show. Keep it locked to New Orleans.Football.
Rouses Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodeau, Homa, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store.
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouses.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Shaw Insurance, the Earhart agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Shaw. That's 504-326-6526. Shaw Insurance, the Earhart agency, your local insurance experts. Hard-Hide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hard-Hide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hard-Hide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants.
Welcome back for more NOF. It is now time for our next segment presented by Hard-Hide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. Nick, as you mentioned at the top of the show, tomorrow, the second OTA availability for us, a second chance for us to get out there with a fresh set of eyes, see what the team is going with. You posted a clip last night. You clipped it out of the Saints' hype video of Tyler Shough finding Juwan Johnson down the field on a real dime. What else are you looking for in the second OTA availability?
That was an amazing throw by Tyler Shough to Juwan Johnson. I mean, that throw was beautiful, like right over Demario Davis, kind of threw it on a line, like he layered it kind of perfectly. Like it's just a really nice throw. Obviously, it's isolated within whatever they're doing now, but I mean that was an exciting clip. It was an exciting clip to see. And as we go out there to the second OTA, I just want to see more of that. Build on it. Let's see some of those throws. Let's see a little bit more comfort. Let's see a little bit more speed and deliberateness to the things that you're doing within these practices. And let's just see Tyler Shough look a little bit more comfortable. And then on the flip side of it, I just want to see Spencer Rattler build on what he did last time. And it would be hard to build on it. It would even be hard to sustain it, but just be painting with on the same canvas in the same quality of practice. And if you can continue to do that, we'll continue to be excited about, the things that he's doing out there. But really these practices, and it's kind of a simpleton type answer, but it's all about the QBs to me right now.
Yeah, no, it definitely is all about the QBs, but I kind of want to sacrifice my comfort and be outside. In all honesty, I want to be outside because that gives a chance to really see everything, capture a lot
you mean
of
you want the practice to be outside?
Yeah,
not inside. Yeah.
Yeah. I want the practice to be outside. I want to be able to go and get some footage of other positions where I'm not boxed into just one side, just for the sake of my job, in all honesty, because that makes it more fun for me to be able to go around, find different people, and analyze in the window of time that we get. But like you said, it's all about the QBs. Last week, Rattler was 8 for 8. Tyler Shough didn't have a bad showing neither. But let's see what they look like this week. Let's see what maybe that rotation that they've been talking about of, oh, well, you guys didn't see it, but this guy got play this day. This guy got play that day. Let's see how it develops. You're going to have,
What do you think that means for the defense? That it was 7 for 8 and 8 for 8.
Oh, well, I understand the pads aren't on, but I mean, you in red orange territory. You're about to be have to press the button and really kind of
a little bit concerning,
put it in panic mode. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
like
definitely.
not like jump out, like no conclusions, but
no.
When you take a step back and you're just thinking about the same 16 passes for 7 days, like you're going to start maybe getting like really deep into the meaning of those things. But it's like, wait a minute, like,
yeah, that means you got diced up.
Yeah.
I mean, no other way to put it about it. They only missed one throw on you. That means you got diced up. So I think they need to stop that, make it to where we talk about, oh, well, he was 6 of 8 instead of 8 of 8, or he was, oh, they had an interception right here. I need something like that needs to happen. Also, too, I'm excited to see which guys are out there that weren't out there last week, how they fit in, because I understand, the Tyrants of the Marios, they take time for their family and everything like that. But I mean, offense, the same thing, kind of for the not really. Just AK was really the primary piece that wasn't there like that. But yeah, I want to see who shows up.
He won't be there. AK won't be there.
I know that he's in like Jerusalem or something like that right now.
Chase was at it in the video they posted yesterday, so he's at least there this week. Who knows if he'll be there for all 3 sessions? But he was out there tomorrow. We had said he was going to be back this week. So, I mean, those are good things to see. Yeah. I mean, seeing who's out there, who isn't, all that stuff. And some missing pieces on defense and everything. But I would like to see him like break up a pass or two, just something. And look, Spencer Rattler might end up being amazing this year. Tyler Shough might end up being amazing this year. They might be amazing right now, and like we just don't know that they're ready to become top tier NFL quarterbacks or whatever. So maybe they got two of them on the team. Like who knows? Like they're on wrap presence at this point, basically just all potential. But you know, the degree of difficulty, at least as far as we understand it, is a collective quarterback group all put together across the league. They're starting at a pretty low point. I mean, so it's and they gave up 15 to 16. Like you want to see the secondary break up some passes. Again, one practice, it probably doesn't mean anything, but as we evaluate this piece by piece, like we're going to talk about every piece as it comes together, and then later decide how much weight we're putting on piece 1 versus piece 3 and how they blend together and everything. We got one piece, and that one piece was a bad day for the defense.
Yeah.
And within the context, it's like, yikes.
Exactly. And then, in the span of a whole week, you don't know what those overall charts look like in terms. You might, you know what I mean? But you don't know what those overall charts look like in terms of, day 1, day 2, day 3 compounded on top of each other. But for sure. In terms of seeing it, it looked, the numbers tell you it looked bad.
Yeah.
We're going to hit another break. And then when we come back, we'll have more show. Keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
If you're hungry and just want something that actually delivers on flavor, this is it. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just dropped some new menu items, and they're legit. The Philly cheesesteak po' boy is loaded up right, and the Philly pasta brings the same flavor, but in a new way. And don't skip the fried green tomatoes. Crispy, and that crawfish sauce is no joke. Open every day, delivering late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com.
Welcome to the Queen Casino, the crown jewel of entertainment destinations. From the thrill of gaming, where every spin and deal brings you closer to fortune, to the excitement of sports betting, where you can feel the rush of victory. Our spaces and catering menu are perfect for any event. From business meetings to grand celebrations, immerse yourself in our vibrant atmosphere with live music that keeps the party going all night long. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
Welcome back for more NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for the Get Gordon question of the day, presented by Gordon McCurtain and Injury Attorneys. Today's question comes from Tayc. Tayc asks, will Juwan Johnson play more of a big slot in the new offense?
I don't think so, but I mean, it is kind of interesting. It's an interesting question. Like, I think there's obviously some blending there that happens within those positions where you can basically create that type of, basically run those routes from a detached tight end position, flex them out a little bit, move them around. It is interesting that I'm pretty sure I saw this, and as I hear this, like it's triggering a memory and a note that I wanted to put down and I didn't. I do believe that I saw him running routes with the receivers when the other tight ends were split into like doing something else. And maybe there's some prioritization in that because that's his primary responsibility. But I think I saw that. Like, I don't want like Sig, don't throw that on the Saints wire, man. Like shout out to Sig. I think Sig does a great job, man. Like he's on top of everything. But yeah, like don't aggregate that because like I don't know that is like factual, but I do think I saw it.
Even thinking about the clip that we put out of the receivers running the routes, I don't think in that pool there were any other tight ends, but I'm not sure. But Bub, Olave, Cooks, Pettis, Peoples-Jones, and Juwan. Yeah, I think that's all who was in there.
That's what I'm thinking. I swear I saw him in something.
Yeah.
Hold on. You sent me that? You texted me that?
Yeah. It's in there.
All right. I'm looking at it. We got Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, Bub Means, Peoples-Jones, Dante Pettis, flag football champ, Juwan Johnson. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought. Like he is somebody that could be blended within that. Yeah. So okay.
We've been talking all off season about how the Saints need to add a big pass catcher. A name like Keenan Allen was thrown around, but you got a chance to talk to Brandon Cooks last week, kind of following his return. What does the receiver room kind of think about that notion of they need to add more pieces, or do you think they're okay with what they have right now?
Yeah, I mean the receivers are kind of like hating on that talking point, and I get it. They should. I want them to hate on it. I want that competitiveness. I want them to feel like they got enough in there, and everybody's sleeping on them. And
Yeah.
this, group of 6 foot tall guys is all they need, and they can be separation monsters and all that stuff. So I get it, and I like the mentality, and I like that he's thinking like that. And maybe Brandon Cooks is right thinking that way, but I personally disagree. I think they need a bigger body guy. I think it's going to come up at some point this season. Maybe it can be Juwan who blends into that
Yeah.
and helps cover it up. So maybe the pieces are there, but I think fair and logically, it's hard to get there until you see it. I think it's been an issue for this team. The big body guy was on the team last year, and they had a big bodied issue last year. Like
Yeah.
kind of in that area of the field. So maybe the new offense, new scheme, maybe they can put it all together and it works, and the picture they paint is great. But I think I just personally I got to see it, but I could see it working out their way, but I got to see it. Like I personally have doubts, but prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm leaning towards them adding it because I think it definitely help, can't hurt. But that'll do it for this edition of New Orleans.Football. We appreciate you all for stopping in today. Catch you next time.